Welcome, grade 5 learners. This is your learning buddy. Salamat sa muling pagbalik dito sa aking channel, and today we are going to learn the week 7 topic, which will be about using complex sentences to show a cause and effect relationship. So ang topic na ito ay gagawin ko in Taglish so that you will be able to understand kahit wala kayong kasamang guardian or parent sa tabi ninyo. Basta lagi lamang makinig at wag i-skip ang ating video so that may mapupulot kayong aral sa araw na ito. In this video, you will learn to A. Identify the cause and effect. B. Write cause and effect using a subordinate conjunction correctly. And C. Use complex sentences to show cause and effect. So, narito ang ating mga pag-aaralan ngayong araw. Ano-ano sila? Una, matututunan ninyo kung paano ginagamit ang cohesive devices. Ano-ano ba itong cohesive devices na ito? Cohesive devices are words we use to connect ideas. We are also going to learn the subordinate conjunctions. When we say subordinate conjunctions, particular dito sa topic na ito, ang mga gagamitin nating conjunctions ay ang ginagamit sa subordinating clauses. Conjunctions or cohesive devices ang tawag din sa kanya. Alright? Minsan tinatawag silang transitional devices. Also, you will learn kung paano ginagawa ang complex sentence in basic structure. These are going to be presented with easy graphs to show when writing complex sentences. Next is the dependent and independent clauses. Siyempre, bago tayo magsulat ng complex sentences, I am going to teach you kung ano bang dependent at independent clauses para mas maunawaan, at bago sumulat ng complex sentences, alam na ninyo ang konsepto ng dependent and independent clauses. Difference between dependent and independent clauses will be taught. Okay, for the part 1, let's have a review. So let's reuse or recycle the sentences we used from my previous video about cause and effect. So here are examples of cause and effect sentences. Number 1. My stomach ached because I ate too much ice cream. In this sentence, makikita natin na labeled siya. So, since ang pinag-aaralan natin ay cause and effect, hanapin muna natin ang cause. Nasaan ang cause? Dito sa sentence. Correct. Ang cause sa sentence ay ang I ate too much ice cream. Nasaan ang effect? Correct. Ang ating effect ay ang my stomach ached. Asan ang ating cohesive device o conjunction na ginamit? Correct. Ang conjunction na ginamit in this sentence is because. So, babasahin ko yung sentence. My stomach ached because I ate too much ice cream. Sumakit ang tiyan ko dahil kumain ako ng labis na ice cream. Alright. Ibig sabihin, meron tayo ditong epekto at dahilan. Ang dahilan kung bakit sumakit ng kanyang sikmura or tiyan ay dahil sa kanyang pagkain ng labis na ice cream. Alright? So, kung mapapansin natin dito sa label or ang structure natin, nauna yung effect bago yung cause. So, tandaan ang label na ito, no? Effect and cause. In between or sa gitna nila, doon natin nilalagay ang ating cohesive device. By the way, later, we are going to tackle more of that. So, baliktarin natin yung ating sentence. Okay? Kasi dito sa video na ito, ituturo sa inyo yung tips and tricks kung paano ba sinusulat ang sentence na may cause and effect. Alright? So, dito ngayon, yun pa rin yung sentence na ginamit natin, hindi ba? Pero, nabago ang kanyang structure or nabago ang kanyang positions. So, kung kanina nasa gitna ang ating cohesive device, ngayon, siya ay nasa unahan na. So, ang cohesive device is because. Ang ating cause ay I ate too much ice cream. And ang ating effect ay my stomach ached. Anong napapansin? Meron tayong dinagdag na elemento. Correct. Ang ating idinagdag na elemento ay ang comma. So, ang structure nito ay tandaan, cohesive device used, followed by the cause, followed by a comma, and followed by effect. Dito, ganun pa rin ang ating pangungusap. Nagkaroon lang ng transposition. Alright, so, nasan ulit ang ating dahilan kung bakit sumakit ang kanyang sikmura? Or tiyan? Correct. Ang dahilan ay, I ate too much ice cream. Anong naging epekto kung kumain siya ng maraming ice cream? Anong nangyari? Correct. My stomach ate. Alright? So, sumakit ang tiyan ng ating subject dito sa ating pangungusap. Tandaan o ulitin ko, pwedeng ipwesto ang ating cohesive device sa harapan. Now, let's have this example number 2. I failed the test since I did not review. In this sentence, hanapin muna natin ang cause. Okay, ang dahilan ng pangyayari ay ang I did not review. Dahil hindi siya nag-review, ano ang nangyari sa kanya? Hanapin ang effect. Correct. Dahil hindi nag-review ang ating subject na I, ang nangyari sa kanya, bumagsak siya sa test. I did not review, I failed the test. Nasaan ang ating cohesive device na ginamit? Very good. Ang cohesive device na ginamit ay ang since. Nasa gitna ang placement ng ating cohesive device used. Ito ay kagaya ng ating label number 1 sa kaninang example. Ngayon, uulitin natin, no? Ang label na ito ay effect followed by cohesive device used followed by a cause. Another notification, no? Ginagamit natin itong cause na karaniwan nating inilalagay pagkatapos ng cohesive device. So dito, sinusundan ang ating cohesive device na since ng cause na I did not review. Nasa unahan ang ating effect which is I failed the test. Ang tanong, Sir, hindi ba kami maglalagay ng comma? Hindi po. Kapag ganito ang structure na effect, cohesive device, and cause, hindi po tayo maglalagay ng comma or coit. Next, example number 2 for the same sentence. Since I did not review, I failed the test. Ano ang mapapansin dito? Correct. Ganoon na naman sa example number 1 kanina, sa label number 2. Nauuna ang cohesive device. Sinusundan ito ng cause, followed by quit or comma, and is followed by I failed the test. Anong tawag natin doon? Correct. Followed by effect. Now, may napansin kayo, alam ko. Yes, laging magkasama ang cohesive device at ang cause kapag sa cause and effect. Yan ang isa natin dapat tandaan, right? Now, in this sentence, may mapapansin pang pagbabago. Maliban sa nagdagdag tayo ng quit, ano pa ang napansin? Correct. Nilakihan natin ang S ng since or ng ating cohesive device kasi siya ang nasa bungad ng pangungusap. Ibig sabihin, siya ang first word ng sentence. Diba? Lahat ng first word ng sentence, ang first letters nila ay dapat na written in capital letter. For example number 3, we have classes were suspended due to heavy rainfall. Now, ang ating effect ay classes were suspended. Ang ating cohesive device used ay due to. Ang ating cause in this sentence is heavy rainfall. Now, in this particular sentence, makikita natin na gano'n na naman, label number 1 na naman ang ginagamit natin. Effect, cohesive device, and cause. Now, madali lang tandaan. Kaya, baka malito ako sa mga ginagamit nating cohesive devices. No, hindi ka malilito. Dahil pag sinabi natin cause and effect, ang ginagamit na cohesive device ay ang connector or cohesive device na magkoconnect sa cause and effect. Basta laging tandaan ang label na ito. Kapag ganito ang label, nauuna ang effect at sinusundan ito ng cause. Ngayon ulitin natin with label number 2. Uunahin natin isulat ang cohesive device. So ang ating cohesive device ay due to. Asan ang ating cause? Correct. Heavy rainfall. At ano ang susunod sa kanya? Correct. Ang susunod ay comma. Ano ang susunod sa comma? Correct. Effect or classes were suspended. Tandaan, hindi dapat i-disregard ang comma kapag ganito ang kanyang label or kanyang graph. Kung ito ang graph na napili mo, huwag mo kalimutan na maglagay ng comma to separate the cause and effect. Otherwise, magiging mali ang iyong pangungusap kahit na tama ang iyong placement. Kapag nakalimutan mo ang comma, magiging mali ang iyong pangungusap dahil magiging due to heavy rainfall, classes were suspended. Tama ang pangungusap, pero dahil walang tuwid, mali ang syntax. Now before we proceed, let me talk about this. What is a complex sentence? A complex sentence is a sentence that is made up of an independent clause and a subordinate clause. When we say subordinate clause, gagamit tayo ng subordinating conjunction. So makinig maigi dahil nandito na ang ating discussion. Remember that we use subordinating conjunction to write complex sentences. We use subordinating conjunctions to write complex sentences. Tandaan na hindi tayo gagamit ng coordinating conjunction o kaya naman ang correlative conjunction. Ang gagamitin lamang natin ay subordinating conjunction in complex sentences. So what are the different complex sentences conjunctions or subordinating conjunctions that we usually use? So narito ang listahan. Subordinating conjunction: than, rather than, as much as, whether, whereas, after, as soon as long as, before, by the time, now that, since, until, when, whenever, while, who, whoever, whom, once, whomever, whose, if, only if, unless, provided that, even if, though, although, and even though. We also have another set of lists: after, as if, because, where, so that, while, unless, and in order that. So bago tayo tumungo doon sa ating example sentences, let me discuss this one. Alamin muna natin kung ano ba ang dependent and independent clauses para hindi tayo malito kapag tumungo tayo dun sa ating complex sentence writing. Clauses is a group of related words containing a subject and a verb. Example: the doctor arrived at the airport early this morning. Ang ating clause na tinutukoy dito sa ating halimbawa ay ang the doctor arrived. Or specifically, doctor arrived. Now, sabi dito, pag sinabi natin clause or sugnay, dapat merong subject and a verb. So, tingnan natin. Dito sa ating halimbawa na nakakulay pula, nasaan ang ating subject? Tama. Ang ating subject dito ay doctor. Nasaan ang ating verb? Correct? Ang ating verb ay arrived. Tandaan, ang tawag natin dito ay clause or sugnay. Mayroon tayong dalawang uri ng clauses, ang independent and ang dependent clause. Now, ito muna ang ating tatalakayin. Ang independent clause. Independent clause is a group of related words containing a subject and a verb. Every sentence contains at least one clause. Bawat pangungusap ay dapat na nagtataglay ng isang sugnay. Pag sinabi nga pala natin independent clause, ang tawag dito sa Filipino ay sugnay na makapag-iisa. Kaya nga tinatawag itong independent. When we say independent, kayang mag-isa at hindi nakadepende sa iba. Now, simple sentence is considered as clause. Alam ko na napag-aralan na ninyo ang simple sentence. Pag sinabing simple sentence, ito yung basic sentence na may subject and may predicate. Now, ang tawag natin sa simple sentence ay clause. Kasi pag sinabing clause or sugnay, kaya niya mag-isa, kumpleto ang kanyang kaisipan na ipinapahayag dahil may simuno at may pandiwa or may diwa sa pangungusap. Now, ang simple sentence ay kinoconsider natin independent clause dahil siya ay kayang mag-isa. Tandaan, ang independent clause is a group of related words containing a subject and a verb. Uulitin ko, every sentence contains at least one clause. Let's have an example. We must find a new strategy. In this sentence, we have the subject and we have a verb. ang ating subject, we. Ang ating verb, must find. Now, mawala man itong a new strategy, correct pa rin ang ating sentence. Dahil siya ay may subject at verb. Ibig sabihin, kahit alisin ko itong a new strategy, at ang matitira ay we must find, tama pa rin ang ating independent clause, or it can stand alone dahil meron siyang kaisipan. Ano ang sinasabi? We must find. Anong dapat natin gawin? Okay, kailangan natin or obligasyon natin maghanap. Ibig sabihin, meron siyang ibinibigay na tiyak na kaisipan kahit wala na siyang karugtong. So we have another example. The scared dog ran away. Hanapin natin yung subject sa sentence. Correct. The subject in the sentence is scared dog. Ating verb ay run. Kahit sila lang dalawa at alisin natin ang determiner na da at ang ating adverb na away, tama pa rin ang kaisipan o tama pa rin ito na ating clause, magiging tama pa rin ang pangungusap dahil meron tayong subject at meron tayong verb. Magiging tama pa rin ang pangungusap dahil meron tayong subject and meron tayong verb. Narito pang ilang halimbawa ng independent clauses or sugnay na makapag-iisa. The mayor donated clothes and food. In number 1, we have mayor as a subject. We have donated as a verb. So, independent, kayang mag-isa kahit wala ang the, clothes, and food. Ano ang sinasabi? Nag-donate si mayor. Next, number 2. I play basketball. In this sentence, yung kulay pula na I at kulay pula na play ay ang ating subject. Yung I ang ating subject. Verb, yung play ang ating verb. I play. Alisin man natin ang basketball. Kayang tumayo mag-isa ng ating clause na I play kasi mayroon itong binibigay na kaisipan. Ako ay naglalaro. Ang ginagawa ko, naglalaro. So, meron siyang thought. Number 3, we watched the movie yesterday. In this sentence, we have the subject we. Asan ang ating verb? Watched. So, alisin man natin ang the movie yesterday. Kompleto ang kaisipan na ibinibigay ng we watched. Kami ay nanood. Ano ginawa namin? Nanood. Kaya ito ay independent clause or sugnay na makapag-iisa. Now, let's talk about dependent clause. Ito naman ay tinatawag na sugnay na hindi makapag-iisa. Now, let's talk about dependent clause. Pag sinabing dependent clause, tinatawag ito in Filipino as sugnay na hindi makapag-iisa. Dependent clause is a clause that functions not as a sentence but as a part of speech, noun, adjective, or adverb. Ibig sabihin, itong sugnay na hindi makapag-iisa ay nagfa-function lamang bilang pangalan, pang-uri, at pang-abay. Tinatawag natin ang clause na ito minsan na noun clause, adjective clause, or adverb clause. Therefore, it cannot stand alone as a sentence. So dahil nagfa-function siya bilang noun, adjective, at adverb only, hindi siya magfa-function bilang isang complete thought, sentence, or clause. Dahil kaya nga tinawag na dependent, dumedepende siya sa ibang parte ng pangungusap para magkaroon siya ng silbi at magkaroon ng kahalagahan ang function niya bilang part ng sentence. Narito ang ibang halimbawa ng ating dependent clause or sugnay na hindi makapag-iisa. Number 1. Before we ate our burger, we sat around and talked. In this sentence, nakikita natin na nakakulay pula ang 8. Yan ang ating dependent clause. Now, let's proceed with example number 3. My teacher, who lives in Bulacan, travels 4 hours daily. Nasaan ang ating dependent clause? Correct. Ang dependent clause ay ang nakakulay red na who lives in Bulacan. So, pag sinabi ko ba sa'yo, who lives in Bulacan, na hindi pa tanong, alam mo ba kung ano ibig ko sabihin? Hindi, dahil hindi kumpleto ang pangungusap. At hindi nga ito pangungusap dahil ito ay tinatawag na sugnay. at ito ay sugnay na hindi kayang mag-isa. Ang tawag dito ay dependent clause. Wala siyang subject, wala siyang verb. Now, ibibigay ko sa inyo ang tips and tricks kung paano mabilis na matutunan, kung paano piniplace ang ating effect and cause sa isang pangungusap, at kung paano tayo magsusulat mamaya ng ating complex sentence. Remember these patterns. For pattern A, we have effect. Yan ang ating rectangular shape. Sinusundan siya ng underline na conjunction or cohesive device. Ulitin ko, ang gagamitin natin conjunction ay subordinating conjunction. Tandaan ang pattern A, effect, conjunction, and cause. Ngayon, para sa ating pattern B, we have conjunction or cohesive device, followed by cause, followed by comma, followed by effect. Dito sa ating tips and tricks, ito lamang ang dalawang graph or patterns na dapat tandaan para sa pagsusulat ng ating complex sentence. So, how to write a complex sentence? You can apply the graph pattern shown in the tips and tricks. Number 1. Always consider that there should be an independent clause. Tingnan natin. I went home because my head ached. Ulitin ko, no? Paano magsulat ng complex sentence? Una, always consider that there should be an independent clause. Nasaan ang ating independent clause as highlighted? Correct. Ang independent clause ay I went home. Kasi kompleto siya. May subject and may verb. How to write a complex sentence? Pangalawang dapat tandaan. Remember that the complex sentence should also have dependent clause or subordinating clause. So, balik tayo dun sa aking slide na ipinakita. So, how to write a complex sentence? Number 2 na dapat tandaan. Remember that complex sentence should also have dependent clause or subordinating clause. Pag sinabi natin dependent clause or subordinating clause dito sa ating topic na complex sentence, pareho lang sila. So dito, para malaman mo kung nasan ang subordinating clause, unang hahanapin ang subordinating conjunction. Nasan ba ang subordinating conjunction dito sa ating sentence? Correct. Ang subordinating conjunction ay because. Ngayon, simula sa because, patungo sa 8, yan ang tinatawag nating subordinating clause. So, in this sentence, we have, I went home because my head ached. Ang ating complete sentence or independent clause ay ang, I went home. Ang ating conjunction na subordinating conjunction ay ang because. So, simula sa because hanggang dulo, ang tawag natin dyan ay subordinating clause. Pag sinabing subordinating clause, ito ay nakadepende or nagdedepende sa ating independent clause na I went home. Uulitin natin. Ang I went home ay kayang mag-isa kahit wala ang because my head ache. Ngunit ang because my head ache ay hindi kayang maging isang pangungusap dahil ito ay hindi kumpleto. Ang tawag dito ay dependent lamang. So, uulitin ko. Ang ating independent clause ay ang I went home. Ang ating subordinating conjunction ay because. Ang ating subordinating clause ay because my head ached. Uulitin ko. Ang I went home ay kayang mag-isa or can stand alone dahil ito ay may subject at merong verb at merong kaisipan. Sino ang umuwi ng bahay o ng tahanan? Ang sagot? I. Pero ang ating nakapula na because my head ache ay hindi kayang mag-isa dahil wala siyang kumpletong sinasabi kapag wala ang ating independent clause na I went home. So, pag sinabi kong because my head ache, hindi ito kumpleto. Hindi mo ako mauunawaan. Halimbawa, ikaw, nakita kita sa daan. Tapos sinabi ko sa iyo, hey friend, because my head ache. So, ano ngayon? Diba? Hindi mo ako naunawaan kasi hindi kumpleto ang kaisipan na ibinibigay ng aking clause or sugnay. Tandaan, ang independent kaya mag-isa, ang dependent hindi kayang mag-isa. Number 3 na dapat tandaan. The subordinating conjunction is the beginning of the subordinating clause. Uulitin naman natin ang ating pinag-uusapan. Meron akong binigay dito na label para mas mabilis mo maunawaan. ang ating sentence ay, I went home because my head ached. Ang ating independent clause ay ang I went home. Ngayon, ang ating conjunction or subordinating conjunction ay because. Siya rin ang ating cohesive device. Ngayon, ang ating subordinating clause ay dapat na magsisimula sa conjunction. Ulitin ko, nasaan ang ating subordinating conjunction? Correct. Ang ating subordinating conjunction ay because. Simula sa because hanggang 8, ang tawag natin dyan ay subordinating clause. So, narito ang ating kumpletong label. I went home. Ang tawag dyan ay independent clause. Because, ang tawag dyan, subordinating conjunction or cohesive device. Because my head ached, ang tawag dyan ay subordinating clause. Uulitin ko na naman ang pattern. Pattern A, huwag kalilimutan ang ating tips and tricks. Effect, conjunction or cohesive device, and cause. Narito ang halimbawa ng ating pattern A. Ang I went home ay ang ating effect. Nasaan ang ating conjunction or cohesive device? Correct. Ang ating conjunction or cohesive device ay ang because. Nasa naman ang ating cause? Correct. Ang ating cause ay my head ached. Okay. So, ito yung tanong. Bakit ako umuwi? Sagot? Because my head ached. So, ang effect ay ang I went home at ang cause ay my head ached. Dahil sumakit ang ulo ko, umuwi ako ng bahay o tahanan. Ang ating effect ay ang I went home. Ang dahilan ay ang ating my head ached or tinatawag na cause. At ang ginamit nating cohesive device para maikonekta ang dalawa ay ang because. Now, this is a sentence that is an example of a complex sentence. So, ito na ang pinakakompletong label. I went home, effect, cohesive device used because. Ang ating cause ng sentence ay my head ached. So, cause and effect, complete. Tips and tricks, pattern B. Mauuna ang conjunction or cohesive device used, followed by cause, kasi sabi ko kanina, lagi dapat silang magkasama. Followed by a comma, kasi pag hindi ka naglagay ng comma, magiging mali ang sentence. Followed by effect. So ngayon baliktad na. Nasa unahan na ang cause, nasa dulo na ang effect. Okay, so titingnan natin, apply natin. Now it's practice time. Letter A, identify the causes in the following sentences. What is the cause? Number 1. Because he did not review, he failed the test. Number 2. James was absent, so Jimmy took his place. Number 3. Children were required to stay home after the community quarantine was declared. Number 4. He was muted in the virtual meeting since he was so noisy. Number 5. When I shouted loudly, my dog startled. Done? Let's check. So here are the answers. Para sa ating cause, for number 1 we have he did not review. Number 2, James was absent. Number 3, the community quarantine was declared. Number 4, he was so noisy. Number 5, I shouted loudly. For our practice time, letter B, identify the effect or effects in the following sentences. So, hanapin ang effects. Same sentences lang tayo. Go. Done? Let us answer. Number 1, the answer is he failed the test. Ito ang epekto ng hindi niya pag-review. Number 2, Jimmy took his place. Dahil absent si James, ang naging resulta, Jimmy took his place. Number 3, children were required to stay home. Ito ang naging resulta ng community quarantine was declared. Number 4, he was muted in the virtual meeting. Ito ang naging resulta dahil masyado siyang maingay. Number 5, when I shouted loudly, my dog startled. Obviously, dahil sa kanyang pagsigaw, ano naging epekto? My dog startled. Ito ang naging resulta nung siya ay or ako ay sumigaw. Nagulat ang aking aso. Practice time, letter C. Identify the cohesive device or subordinating conjunction used in the following sentences. Same sentence or sentences. So, pareho pa rin ang ating mga pangungusap. So, we have the same set of sentences. Number 1. What is the cohesive device? Alright, because. Number 2. So. Number 3. After. Number 4. Since. Number 5. When. Kung mapapansin, ang number 2 na so ay questionable. Bakit? Hindi siya applicable sa ating itinurong label. Bakit? Kasi ang so ay sinusundan ng effect in this particular sentence. Ang label natin ay hindi akma dito sa example na ito. This only means that you can still create your own labels or graphs or patterns for you to be able to learn or to easily construct sentences. Tandaan, ang example number 2 ay hindi applicable sa ating example or given graphs or pattern. Pattern A or pattern B. I suggest you create your own pattern. Practice time D. Identify the graph pattern used in the following sentences. Uulitin ko, hindi nakasama dito ang ating sentence number 2. So, for this activity, hanapin na pattern na ginamit sa bawat pangungusap. A or B. Go. Here are the answers. Number 1, pattern B. Number 3, pattern A. Number 4, pattern A. Number 5, pattern B. So, thank you for listening at diyan nagtatapos ang ating tutorial for today. Kung gusto mo akong i-follow sa aking social media accounts, i-type lamang ang hashtag LearningBuddy. Pero bago matapos ang ating session today, gusto ko magpasalamat sa SlidesGo for this beautiful presentation. Salamat SlidesGo. Ngayon, uulitin ko. Ibibigay ko sa inyong assignment o takdang aralin ang paggawa ng sarili ninyong pattern. Dahil ang niche ng channel na ito ay turuan kayo on how to explore the English language and make your own ways on how to be competitive and resourceful individuals, I ask you to please create your own pattern para maging gabay ninyo sa mga future learnings or future writings. Gaya na lamang ng sinasabi ng niche ng channel na ito, explore more. Again, this is Learning Buddy. Thank you for listening and mabuhay ka!